guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Harmon. Today, taking you guys only about 10 minutes away from the University of Iowa. So on Easter Sunday night, on March 23rd, 2008, Steven Sueppel, 42-year-old banker, went and killed his wife and their 4 adopted children. His wife's name was Cheryl, and their 4 adopted kids were Ethan, who was 10, Seth, who was 9, Mira, who was 5, and Eleanor, who was 3. And I don't know if this makes it worse, but to me it does. But the fact that Steven didn't shoot them like you hear in, like, I don't know, 85–90% of most family murders. Steven didn't use a gun. He actually used 2 different baseball bats. All 4 children and the wife Cheryl all died from blunt force trauma, not only to their head but to their stomachs. Steven kind of just went and just kept beating everyone until they all died, which it's tragic. The next morning at 6:30, Steven called 911 and told police that he needed assistance immediately at the house. Steven got back into his car, drove down the highway, and crashed the family minivan into one of the concrete barriers, going about 80 miles an hour, killing himself. And this wasn't just a random killing. This was because Steven made some very terrible choices when he worked at the bank. Steven was indicted for taking the funds from the bank and depositing them into his own account. He reportedly embezzled 500 grand. So at the time that Steven Sueppel killed his whole family and then himself, he was actually out on bond from the embezzlement trial. So the timeline of the murders. So Easter morning, Sunday, March 23rd, the whole family went to the Catholic Mass at church. Both Steven and Cheryl's parents were there at the church, as well as some other friends, and they stated that they didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. The whole family seemed perfectly fine. Unfortunately, that was not true. 8 p.m., Steven met with one of his friends. His friend actually came over to the house. And the friend didn't see either the wife or the children at that time. He just saw Steven. But again, he noted that nothing seemed out of the ordinary. And so somewhere between 11:30 p.m. and 3:45 a.m. the next morning, Steven Sueppel gathered all 4 of the children, initially trying to kill them by carbon monoxide poisoning by keeping them in the parked van in the garage with the motor running. But when that didn't work, he brought them all back into the house, where he then ended up bludgeoning them all to death with the bats. 4 in the morning, Monday, the next morning, Steven left several different voicemails and emails that he sent out to his friends and relatives, kind of describing what he did and what he was going to do. I don't know how much time in prison he would have served. Probably not more than like 15 years, maybe less, probably like 5 years or something. So you wonder, like, so he killed his family and then himself because he didn't want to spend time in prison. There should have been another option. Like, he should have just manned up and served his time in prison for what he did, and then he would have been out probably in about 5 years or so, more likely. His wife and his children, I mean, maybe she would have divorced him, but maybe not. But he would have at least been able to be there for his children. So I don't know if you can hear me, guys, but I'm actually driving on I-80 East right now, heading to the Sueppel house, and this is the highway that Steven Sueppel took before ramming his minivan into, it just said, one of the concrete barriers. And so I don't know if he rammed into like the middle section there, or if he did it somewhere else. About 15 minutes or 20 minutes away from University of Iowa is where the Sueppel residence used to be. That's where they lived. It's the one behind me. The articles online that I read, it didn't say how long the Sueppel family lived in their home, which is behind me. It's very probable and presumable that they bought this house here somewhere at the time when he started working at the bank, because he obviously made pretty good money, which is surprising why he would decide to embezzle money. He made a very terrible decision, which ultimately made him make 5 terrible decisions by killing all 5 of his family members. I feel bad for the wife and the children who obviously loved Stephen and cared about him, but rest in peace to the wife, Cheryl, and the 4 children who again were adopted. And so it takes not only a ton of time to try to adopt a kid, let alone 4. And it's not cheap either. So the fact that it's like you go through all this trouble trying to adopt all these 4 kids, you make, you know, a great life for them and your wife, and then you just end it all for literally really no reason basically whatsoever. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Harmon. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. See you soon.